Hello everybody and welcome to what is going to be the first part in what should hopefully be an interesting little series. I've always mentioned I kind of wanted to do model kit related stuff, and this seems like quite an interesting one to do. What we're going to actually look at today is the first stage or so of the Star Trek Next Generation Build the USS Enterprise D model by Hero Collector slash Eaglemoss. So what is this exactly? This is one of those it's one of those magazines where you get a few parts each magazine and you build up your model slowly. There's been tons of them in the past. I'm sure there's been a Batmobile, there's been Ghostbusters, Ecto 1, there's been the Back to the Future car, there's probably been Star Wars ones. When I was younger, there was a little robot you could build up over time, and there's been various educational ones and such, but the idea is always simple. You get kind of drip fed. You get drip fed parts. Sorry, I lost the ability to talk. And you get these magazines that complement them. You build it up over time, and eventually at the end of 20 years or whatever, you should have a full model. I've never known anyone who actually ever complete one of these things, because they're quite pricey, and across time you probably lose track of it all. But the aim here really is for me to actually, by the end of however long it takes, to actually have a full series of videos showing the progress and having it done, which I'm quite excited about. And I'll be honest, I wouldn't normally go for something like this, but I'm a huge Star Trek fan, and I just thought, yeah, let's give it a go. Let's see what it's like. So I'm subscribing to it every 3 months. So I've got my first subscription package here. And what you get quite a generous offering. I'll get onto the stuff on the left in a moment, but you get the first two magazines. So stages 1 and 2. I'll pop them down to one side. You get this lovely, let me just see if I can hold that up a bit. You get this lovely binder, which contains everything you need. Well, it doesn't contain anything at the moment. What am I talking about? You put your magazines in here when you're done with them. I need a new tripod. This tripod's broken. I thought it was pretty handy for doing that. So that's down to one side. The next phase of stuff. Okay. Now I'll show you this in interspersed footage, but you get a poster. You get an absolutely massive poster, which shows just how big the Enterprise D is going to be when it's fully built, and it's a behemoth. It is it's a really nice looking model. It's absolutely ridiculously huge. I have no idea where I'm going to put it, but that's a challenge for future me. And of course, your parts themselves. So I'll try and make as little noise as possible. So these are parts 5 and 6 there. And they're all numbered on the back. And so you get your various bits there, you get your electronic cabling and such. This is one point of contention straight away, one thing that irked me. You can see that you've got the plastic attached to a backboard. When this arrived, the plastic was actually off of the backboard. I don't know if that came apart in transit or what, but you pay enough for these things, you kind of want to drink. But there's section number 4. That's number 3. I like number 2 because it's got the nacelle. Warp nacelle there. And again, though, this part is just coming off. Yeah, there's number 2 there. And here is number 1, which isn't fully off the cardboard, but a little bit. And for number 1, you get kind of what looks to be part of the saucer section. And then you get like a little leaflet there, just kind of introducing you to the model, what it is, what it's supposed to do. What is this supposed to do? Well, it's supposed to be easy to build. It's got lights and all sorts of stuff on there. So let's cast all this to one side for the moment. it's all just going wrong. Put this to one side. Let's get a bit more light there. And let's have a look at part 1. So, I don't think I'll need the stuff for parts 1 to 3 right now. So they can just go down there. And let's get a start. So, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do this. This first video is a little bit of a trial by fire. A sort of a concept, if you will. I don't know if I want to live build this or time lapse or show, you know, beginning to end, because, you know, some of these bits might be quite tedious over time. We'll wait and see how it goes. So the first magazine teaches you how to build stage 1 and how to build stage 2. And it tells you all the parts you get. What you also get in the magazine is your assembly instructions. Let me tell you what. Let's do this instead. So you get your assembly instructions along there like that. That's stage 2 assembly. So what we'll try and do in this one, I think, is we'll try and cover stages 1 and 2 as far as the assembly goes. You get some, you know, factual information in there, just talking about the conception, the design of the Enterprise D. Just a point, the Enterprise D is probably one of my favourite Star Trek ships. This is, I think everyone, when it comes to some sort of franchise, especially sci-fi franchises, they always have their something. You know, with Doctor Who, it's, you know, who is your Doctor? My best friend's Doctor is Jon Pertwee, and I have other friends whose first Doctor, the one that they identify with, was David Tennant, and that's sort of a thing, you know, everyone has their Doctor, whether it's Tom Baker, Chris Eccleston, David Tennant, Matt Smith, like I said, Tom Baker, Patrick Troughton, you know, so many in there. And I think that's the same for Star Trek. You have, which is your series, and which is your ship, who is your captain. So I always love that. And the D is pretty much my ship, because I grew up with Next Generation, I grew up watching The Adventures of Captain Picard, and I love all Star Trek. You know, I love them from original through to what we've got now with Discovery and Picard, and I'm really enjoying Lower Decks as well. Very excited for what the franchise has. So here we go through. We've got some just interviews and discussions with like the illustrators. You see some sort of really cool cutaways and concept art. And then, yeah, look at that, that's amazing. And then at the back we've got sort of a talking about sort of early plans for Next Generation. And of course, I think any sort of Star Trek fan, any sort of Trekkie out there, we kind of know that over the course between original series and Next Generation, there were plenty of scrapped movies and concepts that, for one reason or another, did or did not make it past the finish line. So they have just a brief look at the magazine, and there's the parts. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly cut and open this up, and then let's try building it. Okay, and we're back, and we've got stage 1 open. All the parts are now accessible, and we've got ourselves set on the stage 1 assembly. So let's just quickly go over the instructions, and then I'll show you what we get in here. So, begin building the Enterprise D, one of the most recognisable elements, the main command bridge on top of Deck 2, plus the beginnings of the lighting system. So it says the illustrations are color-coded to help you identify which parts are being assembled. Red highlights where new parts fit and screw, identifies new parts. Grey-blue indicates previously assembled on. Protect the paintwork. Let's work on soft cloth. Keep small parts of screws in the saucer. There we go. We don't have a saucer or anything like that. But here we go. So the first step, which we're going to do absolutely live, take the main bridge module, 01D. If he can actually get it out of the thing. There it is, that's 01D right there. Oh no, that's not 01D, that's 01C. Ah, I can read. This is why you don't get me to do stuff. and we just plug it in there and we get the two AP components to go in. So what I'm going to do, let's just have a quick look at what you get here. So see the various parts. These are the previously mentioned AP screws there. There's our part 01C. And you get a screwdriver as well with this, which is kind of nice to see. So the good thing is that you don't need your own tools for it. So let's just have a look for what 01D is. So 01D is that piece there. Yeah. So what we want to do, we want to go back to that. So we've got the part there. Now you've seen me briefly. If you haven't watched the video of me making the, or trying to do the Evangelion model kit, you've seen me try and do this sort of thing before. This seems a little bit less complicated, thankfully. But what we're going to do, these screws are so small. Like ridiculously small. I'm just going to get that out there. The bloody screwdriver is magnetized to it. See, the screwdriver keeps on picking it up, which is quite annoying. I'll just screw it in by hand a little bit to begin with, huh? There we go. Take it away from the camera for a second. I should just explain, this isn't exactly the most professional setup, as you can probably tell. I've got a camera mounted on a faulty tripod. It's a phone camera. I do intend to get a proper video camera, because now that we've hit 100 subs on the channel, I feel I can actually justify that. Okay. So there you go. That is 01D to 01C. We have the beginning. I will admit I am a touch nervous about making some of this, which is why I'm not sure if I will actually be filming me building all of this. I want to at least capture me building stage 1. I want to make sure that's at least captured, but I think going forward we might just do like a sort of time-lapsey type thing. So what we want now is we want 01V. So 01V is a lengthy cable. Actually just say there, does it? What says A? So yeah, that seems to be these ones. So what we'll do... Yeah, stage 1 would actually be quite lengthy as well, wouldn't it? So what we want to do, we want to flip that over. Oh, it actually tells me there, take the bridge light marked with a C sticker. If there's 01V in there marked with a C sticker, could we not just have called them C? That would have, I don't know. Identify the bulb with the yellow and white wiring. That's that one. Fit this bulb to the underside of the bridge base as showing, so that the parts immediately below the bulb surround the oblong jut. Well, that seems right. Next, cover the bridge rear window 01J, which slots into the bridge base. Okay. That looks good. I think that looks good. There we go, that's what we've got so far. Take the other bulb. And then it's just repeat that process. There's like an awful grating sound there being made, right? And then yeah. Ah, okay, I see. So that goes over it like that, but these come down like that. Okay, so there we go. We've now got that. Our next step. See, I've covered the bulbs now. How is that supposed to do anything? I don't know. I suppose that's all questions for another time, isn't it? So next stage is to cover the bridge bottom. So there you go. No, these come straight down. Okay, I get it now. Thread the wires coming through your bridge assembly through the centre of the bridge bottom, which is 01K. Which it looks to be this one. Okay, and then what we do that looks about right. We need the APs again. Two of them. I feel like there should be some sort of like incidental music over this, just sort of hit the screwdriver. screw that in. And we want to do it for the other one. Once again, I've managed to pick up two. Their screws are so small. And doing them whilst peering over the top of a tripod with a camera ain't easy. Maybe I should have positioned the camera off to the side. See, that goes in there like that, like that. Take a weird jellyfish. Let's just package that back in the bag. Back in there. Oh, we got 2 pages done. We're 13 minutes in. Come on. Right, next step. Locate deck. Oh, I knocked the tripod again. So, next step. Locate deck 2, which is 01A. I'll admit, it wasn't hard to find. And we need to find the emergency flush vent. So that's 01H. So let's go back to this. So I will say, I guess the kind of one problem I am sort of foreseeing with this is some of the pieces aren't amazingly marked for what they are. So we've got like 01H here. But there's also a clear one. Now one of these... Ah, okay, I get it. I see now. I was about to say, one of these is meant to be like left and one's meant to be for right. But it looks like if you matched them up with the piece there. That makes sense. Cool. Ignore me then. So let's get back to the page. So what you want to do, fit the vent into the slot as shown. Okay, we've done that. Take the deck lights 01U, marked with the B sticker, which are that one. And then what we're going to do, fit the bulb with a black and yellow wiring next to the vent, which is this one here. So the rubbery base of the bulb straddles the oblong jut. So I guess that's what we want there. So that's kind of how that looks. So then we want the emergency flush vent left bracket, which is 01S. which is that bit there. And then what we want to do is seat that back in there. Yeah, this is very, very tricky to do, like I say, hovering over a camera. Okay, so we are back. We actually finally managed to get that done. So you can see the bulb is sat in here nicely. That one's on. That one's on. There's no bulb to go in there yet. Presumably you're going to get that later on. So we are on to step F. Then we've got G, then H. And then we finished the stage 1 assembly. So yeah, I think just based on my experience so far, definitely going to probably do jump cuts rather than build the whole thing, because I imagine I'm more of an amateur builder when it comes to this stuff, so I'm not by any means an expert. So I think just for anyone watching sanity, you know, to save your screaming at the camera or whatever, it'd be best if we just, you know, make use of jump cuts and stuff. However, what we're going to do, we're going to move on to the next step. Step F. So we want to insert the deck front window 01E into the recess on the front. So that's, let's just double check it first. I've made mistakes with model kits in the past where I haven't double checked. So yeah, 01E is indeed that. So this should, in theory, and I say in theory, it should just slot very, very nicely into the recess. There we go. Lovely. Oh, we've got lights again. Hey. Right. We have cover the deck front window with the deck front window deflector. Then slot the bulbs into both ends of the front. Okay, so we want the deflector in first, it looks like. Then we want to take that, and slot them in. Again, I appreciate I'm having to move away from the camera. The problem is, like I said, I don't have an appropriate setup for this. There we go. What we can try and do is try and just slot that in. Tell you what, let's do this side first. That should just slot in. I mean, hell, I don't know why. Oh, that's probably why we need to slot it in, because it'll be a lot nicer if we do it that way. Yeah, I see now. Because I hate working with anything cable related. I always find it quite fiddly. Like I said, I'm not an expert at this sort of stuff. So there. So what we want green one slot in here. The problem is it's so narrow, so when I get close to popping it in, the entire thing just bloody flips around. Tell you what, we'll do another jump cut. Okay, we're back again. It actually wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. You can see we've got the two lights in, so we just need to finish off the screws on this little bit, and then we should be okay. So these screws are so small. What I'm gonna do? My big potato hands. Screw that in. This actually feels really good quality though. I'll say that. But yeah, I think definitely the way forward is maybe, I don't know how many stages this thing's going to be. I guess I'll have to gauge it stage by stage, but I don't want to have like 100 odd videos. But at the same time, if that's what it's going to take, then that's what it's going to take. But I think we'll definitely wrap up with stage 1 in this video, and then I'll put out stage 2 in another video, and we'll just we'll see how long each one takes. If I get through a stage in like 5 minutes, then we can move forward. But in this case, because this one's been quite difficult and fiddly, and that's just going to be a matter of the more I do this, the more I get used to it. There you go. Space, the final bottle opener. That's what it looks like right now. Okay. So we've got G, H, and then we're done. So let's have a look at what we need to do for G. So turn it upright. Yeah. Turn it upright. There's so many things there. And then we want to get the central void space, which is this. And we want to pop it in. Like a giant egg. Oh, that fits in nicely. And then we want to turn it over again. We want to get the AP screws. 4 AP screws. These are so ridiculously small, and I get why they're small, but it just brings out a fear in me. One day I will get a better setup for all this stuff, I promise. Oh. One day I'll learn which is the correct place to screw it in. So you see it there. One. There are 4 screws. This is where I start making random noises of effort because I've run out of things to say. So yeah, this is this feels really good quality, like I say. The only thing I would say so far for this stage is, as you've probably seen by the fact that I've put in 2 jump cuts, and by the time this video goes out, I might have done a bit more editing on that, just because it was a lot of dead space while I was figuring it out, and I know that's not really what you want to watch. At the same time, much the same as when I did that desktop army kit, I kind of want to leave that sort of stuff in, because as I allude to, I'm not like unfamiliar with the concept of I want to say making model kits. I've made a lot of Gundam model kits across the years. I've built a lot of Argos and IKEA, a bit of IKEA furniture from time to time. So I'm not wholly unfamiliar with the concept of putting things together, I suppose you could say. But I'm not an expert at it by any means. There are probably plenty of YouTube channels, and I've certainly seen a few there was a little Facebook community for this out there, which was very, very good when I was kind of getting concerned about whether or not this stuff would actually arrive. It was just kind of good to see other people in the same boat. So I imagine there's many people who are already doing videos like this that are probably have a bit more expertise on it than me. But what I like to do is, there are probably many people out there who are like me or less experienced than me, who want to see how someone with that lack of experience maybe copes with it all. So I find it very important to keep in any sort of problems I have, any sort of errors. At the same time, I don't want the videos to be, hours long. There we go, that's the, that sits in there like that. Oh, look at that. Then we want the CP screws. So yeah, for me, making this and putting it online is, like I say, Star Trek is something that's been with me from a young age. It's as young as I can recall, I've been around Star Trek. Now, Next Generation, like I say, I remember watching it as a kid. I remember actually being quite scared as a kid of the original title sequence. I don't know why. The eerie music, the way it went past the planets, scared me a little bit as a kid. It was weird. But I just remember, like, watching it, my dad watching it, and just really enjoying it. I remember getting, like, Star Trek toys as a kid. I was probably the only kid, really, of my, in school or whatever, who liked Star Trek. Like, other people knew of it, certainly, but I don't think many, not many people, from what I recall, liked it as such. Apart from, I would say, probably the guy who was my, was my best friend back in primary school and secondary, and is still one of my best friends now. He's the one who, he grew up with classic Doctor Who. So, Star Trek to him was nothing. He grew up, his dad was into, like, a few old Jerry Anderson things, like, the old Stingray and that, and Thunderbirds, so, there was that sort of nerdy side there. So he was probably the only one who really liked any form of Star Trek or nerdy things, I would say. Oh, there we go, we got them screws in. And that's it so far. Now that is starting to take shape, isn't it? Look at that, that's nice. Okay, so the final step. Carefully remove the 6 escape pod covers from their sprues and push them down into the space on the exterior of deck 2. There we go. Escape pods, doodly-doo. So that is 01L through to 01M. So the question I have, are all of these the same? Okay. Let's just go for it then. So let's pull off this one, which is... I see. So I think, yeah. So they are all a little bit different. They've got little pegs on the back that correspond to where they should go. One. That's number 2 in and this one has an R on because the peg is sort of on the right. Yeah, so they're fitting in there nicely. This is going to be an arduous task. I've been hunched over for so long, my back is killing me. I really need to sort out a better way of doing this. If any of you watching this do have any advice for me in that regard, a setup for my desk to do this, That'd be fantastic. I'm always on the lookout for, like, you know, tripods and advice. Okay. Right, there we go. Stage 1 complete. So what we'll do is I will go and edit this one down, and we'll have a look at it, and then we'll probably have a separate video for step 2. But that's it there. That's the bridge on top. Your skate pods. We've got the start of the lights in there. Yeah, I'm impressed so far. Bit fiddly at times with the lights. Maybe as much down to human error as it is the model itself. Well, time will tell. But there we have it. That's the start of the Enterprise D. That's stage 1. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. But wait, there's just that little bit more. So I had a look at stage 2, and it's only about 2 or 3 short steps and nothing overly fiddly. So I thought, let's push on and get stage 2 done. So stage 2 is the port nacelle. You see there? The port nacelle. Complete with the Bussard collector and the formation light. What does that even mean? Tell you what though, that's pretty solid. So, let's just get straight on with it, okay? We'll get the instructions back in full view for us all. So what we're going to do, we're going to start by taking the nacelle upper, and we want to begin by slotting the Bussard EM field projector 02C on the end of the nacelle upper. Let me just figure out what that is. I think it's this orange bit, and I'm going to confirm that. Yep, 02C is the orange part. Oh, we got that. We got that just sitting nicely in there. Then, next, at the other end of the nacelle, push the formation light 02I into the notch from inside out. This part will only fit one way. So the inside out, which goes there. That's in. Finally, fit the Bussard EM field projector reflector. Bloody hell, that's a sequence of words. I would have hated to have been an actor on that show. Finally, nest the Bussard EM field projector reflector. Try saying that 3 times when you're drunk. Inside the Bussard EM field projector. The part will be securely fixed in the next step. Alright, that is... God, these parts feel really solid. There. There. Pop you down. Onto the next page. We're nearly there already. Now, place the nacelle upper frame inside the nacelle upper and fix in place with 9 AM screws. Okay. The frame, the nacelle, I want the AM screws. Okay, so we've got put 9 of these in there. Let's jump cut. And we're done with the 9 screws. This part just seems to be a lot of the screwing, but let's have a look at it from the front now. So you've got the that there, and you've got the little point where the light comes out. So let's I forgot to put 2 more in. Oh, well, you get to see that one live. I actually kind of realised that it's not quite as fiddly as I thought it was going to be. Still, just a little bit. Oh, drop that down a bit hard. Okay. And just the one more bit there. And that's in. Okay, we're done with that. The next step is to take the nacelle front module and put it onto the end of the nacelle upper. Fix that with various screws again. So that is that bit. So this one is, this nacelle, stage 2, is significantly less fiddly than stage 1 was. I guess you kind of expect certain parts are going to be less fiddly than others. Them screws away, and we want the BMs now. We want 3. Let's try and get them out onto the page. 1, 2, 3. We'll attach it to that. And we're in. Okay. So I don't know how long this video is actually going to end up being, because I'm going to have to do quite a lot of editing past a few bits. There we go. And the third one, we're nearly there with this nacelle. Okay. And there we go. Right, that's in. So there we go. You can see on both sides really starting to take some shape. And again, look at this. The size of it is pretty impressive. So the next step, take the warp engine field grid left. And align them with the frame. So we've got one left, one right. Naturally, did that wrong. Looks like. So yeah, what we want is it for it to be clipped in like that. We want the other end to be clipped in much in the same way, and then that'll create like that sort of effect. So what we are after here. So what it actually says here, the buzzard collector 02A is not needed during this stage. We have to keep it with a safe place to be used at a later stage. So that is this bit here. That will likely go here, but right, that'll likely go there. What we want to do, so what we're going to do, we're going to just speed run through this, because the next steps are to just screw in the final two components. Actually, these and this. So we'll just jump cut again. Okay, we are onto the final screw of this. There we have. Alright, that is stage 2 complete. One half of a port warp nacelle. Yeah, just make sure there's no fur pads. So there we have it. So across this video, we've constructed part stage 1, which is the bridge and car at the top with some escape pods in there. And we've created that. So I don't really want to go over what I've already said. There were a few fiddly parts with getting the lights on. I expect that might ease over time with how fiddly it is. I'll probably get like used to little tricks of it. The nacelle really easy to put together. It took barely any time at all. Like I say, I'm not quite sure how I'll continue this series. Probably do quite a lot of jump cuts. When it comes to doing the starboard nacelle, I would assume we probably don't need to see me go through this whole process again. But no, I'm quite impressed with that. The build quality is fantastic. And if you just have a look at the size of the nacelle and the size of that, you can see this is going to be some beastly piece of kit. So yeah, I've already said it once this video, but now I decided to throw in the rest of it. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this. Please know that it is always appreciated if you watch any part of this video, and please do comment whatever below. If you are collecting this yourself, let me know how it's going for you. Yeah, I won't keep you any longer. See you in the next video.